What's up, Mercs? It's Joe here. Today we're exploring a game called Convoy. Convoy's a tactical roguelike inspired by Mad Max and FTL. Let's get right into a new game so I can start showing you some of the features. Now, when you start out, you get 2 escort vehicles and an MCV. You can change your starter escort vehicles and your MCV, however, you need to unlock these options by playing the game. This game is permadeath, but as you kill different mini-bosses and do different challenges, you unlock different variations of vehicles. For example, these cool-looking things are only unlocked after you beat Andy, whoever that is. We'll be using the basic units just to show you a little bit of the gameplay and all that fun stuff. Up here you can see the different difficulties. There's easy, normal, and hard. These influence how much currency you start out with, how much fuel you start out with, and how hard the encounters in the game are in general. So, let's start out. Welcome to Convoy. After enduring an unexpected solar flare, your spaceship was forced to make an emergency landing on the planet Omek Prime due to critical damage to its primary systems. The captain has ordered you to traverse the planet in search of replacement parts. Obtaining these will allow the spaceship to continue its mission. Alright, so this is the main screen you're going to be looking at as you play through Convoy. Let me just break down everything you're seeing. On the left, you have your Convoy status. At the top are your escort vehicles, and at the bottom is your MCV. The big map in the middle is the map used to travel. It's your overworld. At the top right, you have your currency, marked by the bolt icon. Next to that, you have your fuel. Below that, you have parts, the parts you're carrying currently in your vehicles. Next to that, you have a camp button for when you reach camps. Below that, you have a quest log that has main objectives, side objectives, and points of interest. Below that, you have the factions you're going to encounter. Next to that is a key showing how strong a faction is on the actual overworld. And below that, you actually have an inventory, which I overlooked the first time I played this game. I didn't realize what this thing was. In fact, when I started getting loot, I was like, oh, I honestly wasn't like anything. I didn't notice this. I didn't look at it. I didn't know you could access, or rather see your inventory from this screen. I thought you could only see it when you're in a shop, which I'll show you later on. So let me explain more about the overworld and what's going on here. There's different colors and everything means something. Well, not everything, but every color usually means something. Let me just go start off with traveling. So you hold right click to start traveling, and there are different speeds you can travel at. When you travel on a road, you travel your fastest. When you travel on the white areas, you travel your slowest. The white areas simulate elevation. Now, as you travel, you are constantly burning gas, and this is a constant rate. It's not changing no matter how fast you're going. So that means if you're on the road, going as fast as possible, you're using gas the most efficiently. However, if you're on the white areas going, I guess it'd be around 1/4, maybe half your normal speed, you'll be using the same amount of gas, and you'll be using gas very inefficiently. So basically, stay on the roads. It's very, very crucial if you don't want to run out of gas very quickly, and you want to get long distances. The roads are the best. The gray areas are pretty good. The darker the area, the better it is to traverse. Now, these blue hexagons indicate that there's a faction here. Blue, being Torvac, means that these areas are Torvac controlled. Now, the color isn't very dark, but if it was very dark, that would indicate the faction is stronger. The darker the color, the more enemies you'll find in that area. For instance, if you get a Torvac encounter in a Torvac controlled sector that is very lightly controlled, you'll get maybe 2 Torvac vehicles, and maybe one of them will have a rocket. If you go to a very dark area, you'll probably encounter something like 5 vehicles. One could be a very heavily armored one. Others could have shields, and they could have very, very powerful weapons. So you want to make sure you look at the colors as you traverse the area and the landscape. As you progress through the game, the factions will spread to basically the entire map, and the colors will get darker as you go, because they will continue to gain power as they spread. Power as they spread. So just keep that in mind. Late game, the factions, you shouldn't really worry about them. You should have a big enough convoy, or rather a strong enough convoy, because you can only have 4 escort vehicles at a time. You should have a strong enough convoy if you're having a relatively good run to take on the high-leveled factions. It's just kind of the special enemies you want to look out for, which I don't know a lot of them. I've only seen like 1 or 2 special enemies, and I won't get into what they are because that's spoilers, and no one likes that. Now, what is this? Looks kind of like a radio beacon, doesn't it? Like radio waves? Well, that's because it is. This is a form of random encounter. There are, I guess you could say, technically 3 different random encounters that you could see on the map. One of them you won't see. One of them is a random encounter that as you traverse, you'll just get a random encounter. It'll just pop up out of nowhere. There'll be nothing indicating it. It'll just pop up and that's it. This is a radio beacon, so it could be a distress signal, it could be a broadcast, it could be anything like that. And there's also yellow icons that look like this, except instead of radio waves, they have exclamation points. Those are your main objectives and side objectives. Now, the reason I say they're random is because these objectives play out in different ways. Like, sometimes you'll get the same quest over again, but you choose the same answer, and it'll play out in a different way. For instance, let's say someone says he has a gun, okay? Or no, that's a bad example. Someone says they're going to fix your vehicle, okay? So you say, yes, fix my vehicle. They do it. Done, okay? You get free repairs and you're good. Okay, let's say you're on another run. You say, fix my vehicle. He goes to fix your vehicle. He booby traps it, taking out half of one of your escort vehicle's health or maybe completely destroying it. And, well, then you're down an escort vehicle. This game's random encounters could be devastating. You could lose entire vehicles. Some people will not like that. Some people will not like the chance of just completely losing one of your vehicles on a random roll. Not skill-based, nothing like that. It could just be taken away from you for no reason. I don't think you can have, like, your entire convoy destroyed. I think the most that'll happen is one of your escort vehicles could be destroyed. I've personally never haven't happened, but I've seen it happen in other videos I've watched of this game. Just be aware this game is very random, and if you don't like random things that you can't control, you want to stay away from this game, because I personally like it, but it's very random. You can't control it that much. You can have an extremely powerful convoy and still get screwed over. So let's go ahead and check out this radio beacon real quick. Let's just see what it is. You head to the signal and soon spawn a vehicle by the side of the road equipped with a chainsaw. A chainsaw being a ramming weapon. I'll explain a little bit more once we get into combat. A man with black curly hair is sat on top of the hood. We could speak to him, shoot him, or ignore him and continue. Let's speak to him. Been waiting here for ages. You took your damn time getting here. I hear you've been killing raiders, privateers, and Torvac left and right, and I want in on the action. Got me a first-class ramming vehicle. I don't wreck 'em with my saws. I'm always keeping an eye out to ram a fool straight into some cliffs. If I don't. Welcome aboard. Shoot him and scrap the vehicle? No thanks, goodbye. So it's actually a really good beacon. We're going to get another escort, and that is kind of rare. You can buy escort vehicles from shops, or you can have them join your convoy, randomly from events. So welcome aboard. El Reco. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so El Reco has joined the party. Now I want to show off camps, so we're going to go ahead and mark the nearest camp and follow this little arrow up to it. Remember, stay on the road. You don't want to go in the white. In fact, I'll show you what happens if you go in the white. Very slow and still using the same amount of gas. A very bad thing to do. Let's go ahead and do this radio beacon. Oh, we got a random event. A group of Torvac vehicles approach your convoy, demanding to scan it. Go right ahead. We have determined that you are a potential threat to the Torvac. Prepare for annihilation. Defend the convoy. Alright, so here is combat. Wow, he's like really far away. So it's nice that we actually have a ramming vehicle. I can show you a little bit of how it works. But combat, I almost said convoy. Combat works in a way where you're always on the move. You're always going from left to right, and position is key in combat. Your MCV is your main vehicle, and if it gets destroyed, you lose. That's it. It's game over right then and there. There's nothing you can salvage from that. If an escort vehicle goes down, it is not game over. You just lose a bunch of your firepower. So what you want to do is try and position your escort vehicles where you can block enemy fire. That's the best thing to do. Now, you can't always do that, but you want to just try and do it as much as possible. Now, this guy actually has a shield, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my MCV's active ability, being an EMP blaster, and I'm going to stun him and deactivate his shield. However, I'm only going to do that once my cannon vehicle is in range, and I'm actually going to send my ramming vehicle in this direction. So it's very simple controls here. It's a very simple way to control your vehicles. You just left click on them, right click to move, right click to attack. Your green circle is your range. They also have ranges you can check. You can upgrade your ranges. I'll go into upgrading a little bit later. Now, you do have to remember that your vehicles will not auto-target, and I don't think there's a way to set that, just making sure. No, it doesn't look that way. So, say this vehicle destroys this. Make sure you retarget because it will not do it automatically. Now, you can obviously pause the game, so you want to pause and make time for that with the pause, or you want to utilize the pause to do that, because if you do it in real time, it's going to be a little bit, well, it's going to be a little bit weird. So let me go ahead and stun this guy, make sure we're attacking him. I'm going to have 2 vehicles attacking him. Since this guy is blocked a little bit, he actually has a mine layer. So he's going to try and get in front of us and start laying some mines. Now, I'm getting my ramming vehicle up. I'm going to go ahead and get right up next to this guy. And what we can do, oh, he's backing off, he's scared, is we can double-click, right-click, and this will go for a ram. Now, a ram will deal damage to you and damage to the enemy. However, that little yellow thing you see on the back of my vehicle is called an aid unit. Now, an aid unit is a utility socket or a utility device that protects you from all ramming damage, be it from the enemy or be it from you doing ramming to them. So basically, my vehicle is immune to ramming damage. I can just keep slamming into this guy over and over again. Ramming is a very, very viable tactic. It's a huge damage dealer, but the only problem is you have to get close. And if the vehicle weighs more than you, which I'm not 100% sure, but I think these little green lines and the red lines show how much a vehicle weigh. Like, for instance, I think it actually shows like light vehicle, medium vehicle, and then 3 will mean like a heavy vehicle. I think that's how it works. And a medium vehicle can't push a heavy vehicle and so on. But as you see, when I ram, I'm actually pushing them back or over, and you can push them into obstacles, which perfect timing. Here's one now. Now I actually have to get out of the way for this. A skull means that an obstacle is about to come, and that obstacle is instant kill. So it could be a cliff, it could be a mountain, it could be a building if you're in a city environment. It's something that if you're in this lane and you hit this obstacle, it'll instantly kill you. That vehicle's gone. No salvaging it. That's it. Game over for that vehicle. Now, that will never happen to your MCV because that'd be really unfair considering your MCV cannot move. It cannot switch lanes at all, which is why you need your escort vehicles. Otherwise, your MCV is very much a sitting duck. And they're also another kind of obstacle. Now, the obstacle is an exclamation point. This could be debris from a vehicle, debris from a vehicle, or a mine from a minefield. These can be hit by your vehicles. They won't insta-kill you, but they will do damage, or they'll deactivate your vehicle if it's a stun mine. That'll be the same as using your EMP blaster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this guy in this lane. Hopefully he doesn't go 2 lanes down to get to the free spot. So yeah, he's going to hit it. And there we go, he's dead. Now, he didn't have much health left anyway, so really, we didn't get too much value out of that. But it's a kill, and a kill is a kill. So I'm going to try and dodge this guy's mine laying. However, he will remaneuver. Yep, there he goes right now. And let's just try ramming him. I'm going to keep my vehicles back here because honestly my ramming vehicle should be fine doing it. I'm going to stun him so he can't drop mines on me. And I'm just going to keep ramming him in the ass over and over again. Now, it's not a good idea to ram from behind because, as you see right here, he dropped debris, or, well, he didn't drop it, but he became debris. And if you hit that, it'll do damage to you. So what I did was I got out of the way right away. And that is combat. You find some loot in the wrecks. We get 12 fuel, 55 bolts, or scrap, whatever you want to say. I think it's bolts in this game, but I call it scrap because I'm used to FTL. Bloody Torvac. Take the loot. Okay, so that was a random event. Let's go to the beacon now. Let's see what this is. A Torvac facility hails your convoy. Let's hear it. We are conducting an experiment to make vehicles more resilient. We wish to experiment on one of your vehicles. Very well. They install a device on your vehicle and they proceed with their experiment. After some time, your vehicle is surrounded by arcs of lightning striking out at random. Okay. After some time, the lightning dissipates and your vehicle appears unharmed. We thank you for your cooperation. We shall reward you with 110 scrap. Thanks. Okay. Now, I said earlier there are different outcomes in different events. It's possible you encounter that same quest that I just... Well, okay, it wasn't a quest, because there are actual quests that appear in your side objectives. But you could encounter that... encounter, I guess, again, or event again, and that lightning would blow your vehicle up, severely damage your vehicle. You know, there's tons of different outcomes, so it's not always peachy. Sometimes you can have really bad luck and just keep losing vehicles over and over again. So this blue icon that I just drove onto is a camp. So our camp button lit up, we click it, we go into the camp, and this is the garage view. Now, from the garage view, we can click repair our vehicles, kind of like using a repair tool on it. and repair them at the full health. We could also click on individual vehicles, and we can edit the upgrades, its slots, and all that fun stuff. Now, before I show you what the slots do, I'm going to show the upgrades and then show the shop that we can go to. So, health upgrades your red bar, armor is your blue bar, handling is how fast and how far, no, it's how fast and how well you can move out of the way from obstacles or maneuver lanes in combat. Obviously, since it's an MCV, it can't go fast or slow or maneuver, so you can't upgrade handling on an MCV. Range is how far a weapon shoots. Same thing with this. An MCV doesn't really have a max range, or a minimum range rather, or no, a max range. Basically, everything you put on an MCV can hit anywhere on the map, except for a few weapons. Some of them won't reach their targets. And Mine Guard, which increases resistance to mines and debris that appear in the road. And eventually you can become completely, like, immune, taking, like, 1 damage per mine. It's really crazy with Mine Guard. So, as you see, there are different maxes that you can get for all these stats. The gray is the different max. You know, once you get rid of the gray, you can't upgrade anymore. At the beginning of this Let's Explore, I showed there's different MCVs. Different MCVs have different upgrades. Different vehicles have different upgrades. For instance, if we go to this vehicle, this one has 3 health bars, 4 armor. This one has, oh, the same, shit. This one has 1 range, though. This one has 3 range. The type of vehicle does matter in this game. It really does. You can get tanks, you can get jeeps, you can get 3-wheeled vehicles, you can get 3-wheeled tracked vehicles, you can get hot rods. Well, actually, I don't know about that. I'm just saying, you can get a lot of really interesting cars. For instance, this is a cargo truck. It's really hard to tell. Well, this is actually a cargo truck, and these are obviously jeeps. And they have different stats, and they'll have different upgrades you can put on them. And some are faster, some are slower, some are built for to be tanks, you know, armored vans and armored trucks, armored buses, I guess. I don't know. Armored vehicles built to be tanks, and they won't go as fast in handling, but their health will go up to, like, right here, and armor will go up to right here. So you can make a tanky convoy. You can make a very fast convoy. You can mix it up. You can make a whole ramming convoy. You can make a whole rocket convoy, machine gun, cannon, railgun, plasma gun, pulse laser. There's a lot of different lasers. Beam lasers. There's a lot of weapons in the game. So here we are in the shop. As you can see, we can buy 5 fuel for 10 scrap. You can always buy that no matter what shop you go to. They have a chainsaw, or rather a buzzsaw for sale, which is different from the chainsaw. Can't remember which is better. This is 10 and then 15 8 armor damage. This one does... This is a buzzsaw. There are... I think there's something called a chainsaw too. I think the chainsaw does more damage though. Because there is a linear progression in weapons in this game. For instance, there's like a small rocket, medium rocket, and large rocket. And from what I can tell, it's just better to get the large one. There's no, like, detriment. It doesn't have a slower reload or anything like that. It's just overall better. You know, go for the big stuff all the time. At least that's what I've seen, unless I missed something, which is very possible. They also have a light plasma cannon for sale. Very effective. Gets armor. Does relatively little to health. And, which is something that's very rare to see, they have a vehicle for sale. Now, this is a very small vehicle. Only has 1 weapon slot. It's very small. It's a light pulse laser. And like I said, it's a very small vehicle, so it probably... Yeah, it doesn't have much HP. I'm going to buy it anyway, because I would like more vehicles. Now, oh, never mind. I was about to say, a little bug is the vehicle won't appear until you leave the camp and come back. But never mind. I guess it only happens sometimes? I don't know. I'm on a beta version of this game right now, because there's a beta version that you can get. The game is fully released, but they keep releasing, like, a beta update, like, every so often. You can get the beta update, and then they'll iron out the bugs in the beta update, and then it'll switch over to the full update, and that's always fun and dandy because they balance some stuff out in the beta updates. Now, of course, beta updates might have more bugs, but it's a risk you're willing to take, or at least I am willing to take. Now, I was going to explain something. Oh yes, that's right, the slots, the sockets. There are 3 different kinds of slots: red, yellow, and the MCV is green. Red's your offensive weapons, like your cannons, your machine guns, your lasers. Yellow is your utility, your aid units, your shields, your turbo to make you maneuver faster, your, I'm trying to think of other ones, ballistic computers that make your range higher. And your green are your active abilities. For instance, the EMP blaster, there's a mine layer, there's a rocket you can get, there's a laser, there's a railgun. Those are your active abilities, and as far as I know, only MCVs can use it unless there's a special escort vehicle in the game that gets them. I don't know, I don't think so, but there are unique escort vehicles. I can confirm this. There are unique escort vehicles in the game with their own art, with their own name. I mean, you can change the name on any vehicle, but they have their own art, their own name, and it's not just like a different color. It's like a whole different sprite. It looks really cool. So far, I've gotten one of those vehicles. I won't say what it is because it's so awesome. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. You guys will see really cool escort vehicles if you do the events, though, or the encounters. It's all luck, you know, if you find one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade the armor on my ramming vehicle and the health. Confirm. And then definitely the armor on this little guy and the health. And then 1 armor, 1 health on him. 1 armor, 1 health on him. And 1 armor, 1 health on him. Alright. We have 25 scrap left over. I'm going to buy some fuel with that. We don't have to use all of our scrap. We can also drag weapons from our inventory we don't want to sell, but I don't need to do that. So I think we're good to go. Oh, it's very easy to unequip these weapons, by the way. When you click on a vehicle to edit, you just drag. It's really easy. And see, I can sell this for 17 scrap. It's really easy to do that kind of stuff. So let's leave the camp, and let's do one last thing. Let me see if there's any main objectives nearby. 97, 159, 123, 90. Okay. Let's go ahead and just start a main objective. I just want to show you an example of a main objective. Just see what it looks like. Privateers have set up a roadblock ahead. You are forced to stop and pay a fee. They demand you give them 45 scrap. Don't pay and prepare for battle. I don't have it. That's a bit steep, isn't it? Yeah, you're right. But you gotta aim high, you know? Tell you what, we'll make it 5 scrap, okay? Alright. Pleasure doing business with you. You leave the privateers behind you. Onwards. Now, normally I would just massacre them because, well, I'm very confident I could kick their ass. Whoa. Oh, it's just the road. I was like, whoa, something I've never seen. But I want to just get to this main objective first. So as you can see, it's an exclamation point, just like I said. Actually, some Raider and Torvac territory and Privateer territory all colliding here. Uh-oh. It's the front lines of war right here, man. So let's go ahead and let's see what this is. You arrive at the office of Eiffels Incorporated, a large building which probably also houses the actual production facility surrounded by an electric fence. It looks exceptionally well defended. The fence has auto turrets positioned along its circumference. You see signs indicating a minefield, and heavy vehicles patrol the perimeter. Before you can approach any further, someone attempts to radio you. We can open the communications or attack. Let's open communications. Welcome to Eiffels Incorporated. You have been cleared for our meeting with our chief executive officers. Please approach the facility on foot. We shall provide transportation at the gates. We wish you a pleasant stay. Approach the office? Sounds like a trap. Attack instead. Let's approach. You are taken inside the building, brought to a conference room, and told to wait. Let's look around. You look around the room and spot several graphs, pie charts, and figures depicting the current financial state of Eiffels Incorporated. Since they have the monopoly of self-sealing stem bolts, they are doing quite well and have a projected profit of around 12 million parts per month. Not bad. After some time, 2 slick-looking businessmen enter the room. Greetings, sir. My name is Samuel Eiffels, and this is my brother Maxwell Eiffels. We welcome you to our fine establishment. Is it safe to assume you are here to acquire some of our stem bolts? That's right. Naturally, we have many customers for our steam stem bolts. Of course, we may have been able to strike a deal if you are willing to pay more than our other customers. We think 500 scrap sounds like a fair price. That's too much, man. How unfortunate. I'm afraid we won't be able to lower our price. That would hardly be fair to our other customers. I'm afraid you'll have to look elsewhere for your stem bolts then. You know you have the monopoly. Monopoly? You know you have the monopoly. I can't get them anywhere else. Quite right. I suppose we do. We realize your desperation, considering the state of your spaceship, and we are not unkind men, so we have a little endeavor for you to accomplish. In return, we shall provide you with stem bolts. What is it? Eiffels Incorporated is always looking to expand, such as the corporate life, you understand? There is one particular problematic individual standing in the way of progress, however. We would like you to head over to the individual and persuade him to part with the deed of his land one way or another. Your methods are none of our concern. Are we in agreement? Not much of a choice. Wonderful. We shall supply you with the coordinates of this particular individual. Please return to us once you have acquired the deed to his land. We shall have your stem bolts ready. Good day, sir. Best of luck. You are let out of Eiffels Incorporated building and return of the Eiffels Incorporated building and return to your convoy. Move out. All right. So we have to go inquire about land. This is just one of the quests that we kind of branch off. There are other quests, like I said, side quests that do this. An example of a side quest is I met a raider camp, like one of the red faction. I met a raider camp. They said, here's some suspicious cargo. Please deliver this to the other raider camp. We'll reward you. And I said, okay. And I had the option to investigate the cargo or just shut up and go right there because they wouldn't tell me what it is. I didn't investigate it. I probably should have. Probably been something really cool. But I took it to the raider camp, and then we had the option to give it to them, demand a better reward. I think that was one of the options. Kill them all, or keep it for ourselves. And I decided to kill them all because we were also they were slavers. They happened to be enslaving women, so we were actually saving slaves. So we killed them all. We took the weapon for ourselves, and we got rewarded with scrap that we looted off the dead bodies of our enemies. It was a glorious day. But yes, this game is Convoy. This was a Let's Explore Convoy. I hope you all enjoyed it. That will be it for now. Honestly, my one gripe with this game before we end today is that there's not enough like quests. There's not enough events. I'm not going to lie. You will see the same events a few times. However, I've played this game for about 9-10 hours today. Well, not today, over a few days. And honestly, this game is super fun, and even with the kind of quests you see, you know, more than once, it really doesn't detract from the experience, in my opinion. It's just, the combat is super fun. It might not be as complex as the crew management in FTL, but it's very, very fun. And if you guys are looking for a fun Mad Max vehicular combat experience that's also a roguelike with lots of random elements and some strategy put in here and there and some really funny references and some awesome unique escort vehicles, like just the unique escort vehicles. Okay, the reason I like that is because I like collecting unique things, like in Skyrim, unique weapons, Fallout, unique guns. You know, unique is so cool to me. I don't know, it makes me feel special, because I'm a special person. Anyway, guys, my mommy said I'm special. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's Let's Explore, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.